Well, I've got a really unique background. Growing up in Knoxville, Tennessee, I had the opportunity to play all sports, which back in the 60s and 70s, most of us did. You know, football during football season, basketball during basketball season, baseball or track during the spring season. So, I grew up playing both sports, had the opportunity to play two sports at Carson Newman College, and had the opportunity to go and play professional baseball. And quite honestly, if you asked me the sport that I love the most, it would be baseball. But as a young coach, my career took off in football instead of baseball, so here I am today. But, I still love athletics, whether it be men's or women's. I enjoy watching the sport. I enjoy watching athletes compete and enjoy being around them. And, it's just a great way to hopefully influence young people so that they'll be a positive influence on others as they get older. Like I say, I was born and raised in Rowan County, North Carolina. My dad worked for the railroad, so when I was 11, we moved to Knoxville, Tennessee. So I grew up in Knoxville. My wife's from Kingsport, Dobbins Bennett, same place as Teddy Gaines. So, I've had a background of Upper East Tennessee for a long time. From there, I went to Carson Newman College and, like I say, played football and baseball. From there, I went and played some pro baseball, and after that, I went to Baylor as a graduate assistant under Grant Taft, who was a great mentor. I played for Dal Sheely, and he's the one that got me to Baylor because he was the offensive coordinator there. And from Baylor, I went to Southeastern Louisiana as the head baseball coach and assistant football coach, and did that for 4 years. And like I said, quite honestly, if you asked me which sport I would rather have been coaching at that time full-time, it would have been baseball, but my career went the other way. So I left Southeastern and went to Louisiana Tech as the assistant head coach for 4 years. And then I went from there to Ole Miss as the defensive coordinator for 4 years. Then I went back to Louisiana Tech as the head coach for a year, and then Mac Brown got the job at the University of North Carolina, and being a native of North Carolina, that was like playing for the New York Yankees. So when he offered me the job to come there as the defense coordinator, I did that. So I was at the University of North Carolina for 13 years, the last 3 years there as the head coach. Then I left there and I went to the University of Alabama and was in the SEC at Alabama for 2 years, and then we went to Texas A&M. Things just didn't work out there for a number of reasons. So when I left Texas A&M, came back home, coached at Carson Newman, which was a great thrill because it was back home around a lot of people that I grew up with, had the opportunity to be around people that I knew basically all my life. And then I left there and I went to Mississippi State for a year. Then I went to University of Kansas for a year. Then I went to Liberty for a year. And now I'm at East Tennessee State. And the thrill of being back home, being back in East Tennessee at ETSU, which is a school that I've always held dear to my heart because of where it was, what it stood for, the tradition it had in all sports, not only just football. And like I told several of our coaches, even though at that time I didn't have a dog in the fight, it was still hurting to me when ETSU dropped football. To see it come back was truly exciting, and I know that everybody that has a feeling for ETSU athletics and ETSU football cannot be any more excited and thrilled to have it back than they are right now. Well, it's kind of a unique story. Basically, I left Liberty, which I had a great job there working for a phenomenal guy in Turner Gill. Quite honestly, I basically had decided to retire and move back to the lake on Douglas Lake in Sevierville, Tennessee. And, it's hard to imagine a 60-year-old guy getting homesick, but that's basically what happened. I was just ready to come back home. So after getting here and getting back in East Tennessee, then I had the opportunity to talk to Philip Fulmer, we've been great friends for a number of years. We competed against each other. We just become really close over a 30-year period of time. So when he called about the ETSU job, I was tremendously excited and honored that ETSU would have an interest. And, it was really a whirlwind relationship for about 2 weeks. And 3 weeks later, I was the head coach. And I can't tell you how excited I am to be the new head coach of a traditionally rich school such as ETSU. And, being here, being around people I've known, I've recruited here for so long, it's really a homecoming for me to be back in not only at East ETSU, but to be back in East Tennessee and to be back in Tennessee in general.